Oh, hello there. I'm Bilchan.
I'm Nimakong.
I'm Banchan.
In this class, I'll read to all of you. Chapter 1, Section 1 in Eyre, an Autobiography.
As.
Ah.
Jane Eyre, an Autobiography. Charlotte Brontë. Chapter 1, Section 1. There was no possibility of taking a walk that day. We had been wandering. Indeed, in the leafless shrubbery air in the morning, but since dinner mice, we'd, when there was no company, dined early. The cold winter wind had brought with it clouds so sombre, and a rain so penetrating, that further outdoor exercise was now out of the question. I was glad of it. I never liked long walks, especially on chilly afternoons. Dreadful to me was the coming home in the raw twilight, with nipped fingers and toes, and a heart saddened by the chidings of Bessie, the nurse, and humbled by the consciousness of physical inferiority to Eliza, Tano, and Georgiana Reed. The said Eliza, Tano, and Georgiana were now clustered round their mamma in the drawing room. She lay reclined on a sofa by the fireside, happy. Then, she had dispensed from joining the group. Then, she regretted to be under the necessity of keeping me at a distance. But that until she heard from Bessie, and could discover by her own observation that I was endeavouring in good earnest to acquire a more sociable and childlike disposition, a more attractive and sprightly manner, something lighter, fine call, more natural, as it were, surely must exclude me from privileges intended only for contented. Ape. What does Bessie say I have done? I asked. Jane. I don't like cavillers or questioners. Besides, there is something truly forbidding in a child taking up her elders in that manner. Be seated somewhere, and you can speak pleasantly. A breakfast room adjoined the drawing room. I slipped in there. It contained a bookcase. I soon possessed myself of a volume, taking care that it should be one stored with pictures. I mounted into the window seat, gathering up my feet. I sat cross-legged, like a Turk, and then, having drawn the red moreen curtain nearly close, I was shrined in double retirement. Folds of scarlet drapery shut in my view to the right hand. To the left were clear panes of glass, protecting, but not separating me from the drear November day. At intervals, while turning over the leaves of my book, I stood at the aspect of that winter afternoon. A horror. It offered a pale blank of mist and cloud, near a scene of wet lawn and storm beach shrub, with ceaseless rain sweeping away wildly before a long and lamentable blast. I returned to my book's history of British birds. The letterpress I cared little for, generally speaking, and yet there were certain introductory pages that, child as I was, I could not pass quite as a blank. They were those which treat of the haunts of seafowl, of the solitary rocks and promontories by them only inhabited, of the coast of Norway, studded with isles from its southern extremity, the Lindiness, Ornays, to the North Cape, with the Northern Ocean, in fast Wales, boils round the naked, of farthest still. Nor could I pass unnoticed the suggestion of the big shores of Lapland, Siberia, Spitsbergen, Nova Zembla, Iceland, Greenland, with the vast sweep of the Arctic zone, and those foreign regions of dreary space, that reservoir of frost and snow, wherefrom fills of ice, the accumulation of centuries of winters, glazed in alpine heights above heights, surround the pole, idea of my own, shadowy, like all the half-comprehended notions that float dim through children's brains, but strangely impressive. The words in these introductory pages connect themselves with the succeeding vignettes. Spray, to the broken boat stranded on a desolate coast. Thington. I cannot tell what sentiment haunted the quite solitary churchyard, with its inscribed headstone, its 8, its 2 trees, its low horizon, girdled by a broken wall, and its risen crescent, attesting the hour of eventide. The 2 ships becalmed on a torpid sea, I believe to be marine phantoms, the fiend pinning down the thief's speck behind him. I passed over quickly. It was an object of terror. So was the black horn thing seated aloof on a rock, surveying a distant crowd surrounding a gallows. Each picture told a story, mysterious and to my undeveloped understanding and imperfect feelings, yet ever profoundly interesting. As interesting as the tales Bessie sometimes narrated on winter evenings, when she chanced to be in good humour, and when, having brought her ironing table to the nursery hearth, she allowed us to sit about it, and while she got up Mice Reed's lace frills, borders, fairy tales and other ballads, the pages of Pamela and Henry, all of Moorland, me, I was then happy at least. In my way, heard nothing but interruption, and that came too soon. The breakfast room door opened. "Bo, Madam Mop," cried the voice of John Reed, and he paused. He found the room apparently empty. "Where the dickens is she?" he continued. "Lizzie," she calling. To his sisters, "Joan is not here." I drew the curtain, thought I. My hiding place, nor would John Reed have found it out himself, not. Quick either vision or conception at the door, and said it. "Once. She is in the window seat, be sure," and I came. Out immediately of being dragged first by the said Jack. "What do you want?" I asked with awkward diffidence. "Say, what do you want?" "Master Reed," was the answer. "I want you to come here," and, seating himself in an armchair, intimated by a gesture that I was to approach, and stand before him, was a schoolboy of 14 years old, 4 years older than I was but 10, large and stout for his age, an unwholesome skin, thick lineaments in a spacious visage, extremities. He gorged himself habitually at table, which made him bilious, gave him a dim and bleared eye and flabby cheeks. Have been at school or 2 on account of his delicate health. Mr. Miles, the master, sent him from home, but the mother's heart turned from an opinion so harsh, over application and perhaps to pining after home, his mother and sisters, and an antipathy to me. Then, not 2 or 3 times in the week in the day, but continually, every nerve I had feared him, every morsel of flesh, In my bone shrank when he came near, moments when I was bewildered by. The terror he inspired appealed whatever against either his menaces or his inflictions. To offend their young master by taking my part against him and Mice. Weed was blind and deaf on this subject, heard him abuse me. Presents more frequently, however, behind her back, habitually. Obedient to John, I came up to his chair, his tongue at me. As far as he could without damaging the roots, he would soon strike. And while dreading the blow, the disgusting and ugly appearance of him, he would presently deal it, if he read that notion in my face. For all at once, without speaking, he struck suddenly and strongly. I tottered, my equilibrium retired back a step or two from his chair. Impudence in answering Mama while since, said he, getting behind curtains. Since accustomed to John Reed's abuse to the insults. What were you doing behind the curtain? He asked. Window and fetched it thence. You have no business to take our books, are a dependent. Mama says you have no money, you none, you ought. To big children like us and eat the same meals we do. At our mama's expense. Now I'll teach you to rummage. My bookshelves, for they are mine, all the house belongs to me. In a few years, go and stand by the door. I did so, not at first aware what was his intention, lift and pose the book and stand and act to hurl it, started aside with that cry of alarm. Not soon enough, however, volume was flung. It hit me and I fell against the door end. Cut in it. The cup bled, the pain was sharp. That terror had passed its climax, other feelings succeeded. I said, I had read Goldsmith's History of Rome, opinion of Nero, Regula, and see. Also I had drawn parallels in silence, which I never thought this to have declared aloud. What, he cried. Did she say that to me? Did you hear her, Georgiana? Won't. I told Ma. He ran headlong at me and grasped my hair. And my shoulder he had closed with a desperate thing. I really saw in him a tyrant, a murderer. Drop or two of blood. For my head trickled down my neck, sensible of somewhat pungent suffering. These sensations for the time predominated over fear, and I received him in frantic thought. Did my hands, but he called me rat. Aloud. Eyre was near him, Eliza and Georgiana had run for mice. Reed, who was gone upstairs, she now came up on the scene by Bessie and her maid a bit. We were parted. I heard the words, Dare, the mice read. Subdued. Take her away to the Red Room, and lock her in there. For hands were immediately laid upon me. I was borne upstairs. To be continued.